Morning. I'm Bob Fisher. I'm president of R.J. Fisher & Associates, a New Cumberland-based engineering, planning, and surveying firm. I serve as chairman of the Pennsylvania Builders Association Chesapeake Bay Trip Strategy Task Force, and I'm also a member of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Resources Chesapeake Bay Trip Strategy concerning the Act 537 plan. For more than 2 years, the Pennsylvania housing industry has been actively involved to help the State Department of Environmental Protection develop a Chesapeake Bay compliance plan that can achieve two important goals: improving the water quality of the Chesapeake Bay and its watershed, and ensuring that economic growth and development can continue to take place in the affected portion of Pennsylvania. Nevertheless, despite the good faith efforts of numerous organizations, including those represented here today, needed changes have not been implemented by the department's strategy. Pennsylvania now faces a situation under which sewage ratepayers must be forced to pay up to $1 billion in capital upgrades that will reduce only a small fraction of the pollution that the state sends to the bay. At the same time, due to the fact that the department's plan makes no allowance for new nutrient discharges, the economic development in large portions of Pennsylvania will be choked off for the lack of sewage capacity for new growth. To avert these environmental and economic calamities, a new approach is needed. That is why we have joined today with other organizations represented here and the Realtors Association to recognize the need for policy changes and target funding for resources to the areas of greatest environmental benefit to the Bay, and provide a mechanism that will allow for future growth in Pennsylvania. The department's strategy does not provide for a mechanism in the form of nutrient trading program under which credits would be generated primarily through the installation of agricultural best management practices, BMPs, to offset the nutrient discharges that exceed the mandated limits. However, due to a number of flaws in the current structure, the implementation of the trading program, it has not been viewed as a viable option by potential credit users or generators by the wastewater treatment plants. A concept that would help to improve the workability of the trading program would be to create a nutrient credit trading bank, which would guarantee the availability of credits over a 20 to 30-year time period at a fixed cost. At the same time, a much better nutrient reduction strategy would be to concentrate funding efforts to install BMPs to clean up the primary source of nutrient pollution, mainly farmlands in south central Pennsylvania. The credits generated by these farms could be subsidized and used to meet the needs of treatment plants and builders throughout the Bay drainage area at a cost lower than what that is needed for capital upgrades. In closing, I would like to acknowledge and express PBA's gratitude and efforts of Representative Scott Perry, who has provided outstanding leadership on this issue and worked with many of the organizations represented here today, along with the legislative staff, to craft a bill that incorporate many of the comments we have spoken about this morning. We will look forward to supporting his bill upon introduction and urge our coalition partners to do the same. We also appreciate the work of Senator Pat Vance, Representative Jerry Naylor, and other state legislators who understand the implications of this issue to Pennsylvania and that have worked diligently to address the problems with the Chesapeake Bay and its cleanup. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak this morning.